Oliver, we're looking at Russian banks today, and VTB, which is the number 2 bank in Russia, has reported first quarter results. Would that look a bit indifferent, really? And I just wonder what they tell us about the bank and about perhaps even the Russian banking market.
What they tell us, firstly, is that the bank is growing quite nicely. There's been some decent growth in its loan book. VTB is really targeting the Russian retail market. Traditionally, it's been a sort of overseas trade-focused bank. It's expanding in Russian retail, taking on its big Russian rival Sberbank in the process. So the loan book's growing nicely, but it's a bit nervous about the quality. There's not been a big deterioration in its asset quality at the moment, but it's made a big increase in provisions, particularly when it comes to consumer lending. So that suggests it has some concerns about the health of the Russian consumer.
Yeah, and I guess the situation is, if you're an investor wanting to buy into the Russian banking market, you either go VTB or you go Sberbank. What has been the comparison between the two of them, I wonder, over the last couple of years?
Well, in terms of share prices, Sberbank has been by far your better option.
It's much bigger, isn't it?
It's much bigger, Sberbank, and over the past couple of years, its shares haven't grown. Sberbank, they're down about 10%, but VTBs have about halved. Now, there's lots of reasons for that. They're hoping that VTB are hoping that will turn around. There's a little more clarity over the government stake. The government owns 61%, and the plan is to sell that down to just over 50% over the next few years.
Right, but I guess that this would suggest that the government actually wants to sort of keep a significant stake in VTB, just like it's doing in other sectors of the economy.
Yes, it's trying to. The government wants to sell down to 50% plus one share, which suggests that it's trying to keep that control. Now it's got 61% now, so there's about 10% to come out, but really, as an outside investor buying into to VTB, you have to ask why the government is so keen for 50% plus one share. That does suggest some sort of control.
Right, but I just wonder whether the economy is also looking a bit more difficult now, because Russia obviously has ridden the commodities boom, but that seems to be over.
Yeah, it seems to be over, and the economy is deteriorating, and that's why there's been an increase in these bad debt provisions. VTB keen to increase its provisioning levels for if there is a bigger deterioration. The outlook isn't great. So the real sort of upside for VTB shares is if it can increase its market share, but it might have to do that in a slowing market.
Okay. Well, VTB has reported its first quarter results today. They're looking a bit indifferent, but then Russia is a tough banking market generally. Thanks, Oliver.